Welcome to TradersArmy.com, defending your right to build wealth and preserve capital for generations to come. Hey everybody, welcome to the weekend edition of the Daily Market Commentary. I am your host, Chuck Fulkerson. Glad you guys could make it in for this weekend edition. Those of you from TradersArmy.com, welcome to the weekend edition of the Core Market Perspective. And we are going to roll on with what we do each and every day, each and every weekend. We're going to take a look at the markets from a technical perspective and identify potential turning points going forward. Now, I didn't get a daily video up on Friday. I was traveling, and so I wasn't able to get one up. So I did make a few moves, but I didn't erase any of the lines. One of the things I always like to do is leave the lines on the charts, because I think it's important for you to see how these levels kind of play out and work out. So let's go ahead and get rolling. So, we have had a pretty volatile week. And we saw really the markets came, down way down on Monday. And then Friday we came back down and retested those lows. Now, I will tell you, I didn't have any trades set up in between any of these areas because I just felt like this was an overly volatile market that I didn't need to be playing in. And we're up about 19 now. I like to put these videos out after futures open on Sunday nights. And I'll try to get something out early Monday morning after the London Open occurs, and we'll see where we are tomorrow morning. So I'm going to make this video fairly quick, but on the big picture scale, we are still in a bigger picture upward trend. Now, I will say that we did break through some weekly areas of fair price. So there was an area here that we broke through. We broke through another one here. So for those of you that are longer-term investors, and maybe you got stopped out of your positions, that's a potential. When you have these strong moves like this, you're going to get stopped out of those longer-term trades if you're moving your stops up below these weekly areas here. So not every single one of those areas are going to be, that big of a deal. It's a fairly, benign pullback when you look at a percentage scale. The problem was it just happened in 2 days. So what are we looking at going forward, right? It's all fun and games to look back, but we can't do anything about what happened in the past. We can only do what's happening in the future. And so what we're going to do is take a look and see, what areas of opportunity lie. Well, at this point, I'm not really going to change my outlook. There's really nothing in here that I'm going to jump all over. If I go to a 15-minute time period, we opened up our session tonight and have traded up since then. If I zoom in on this a little bit, you can see, we actually traded up immediately and then right back down, and now we've kind of come back up into here. So if somebody wanted to be a fairly aggressive, there's probably some overnight trading that could be done. Right now, that would be to the bullish side, but be aware of this area right up in here. Frankly, be very aware of this 2675 areas. Now, by the way, that's pretty far away, right? There's plenty of room. There's a chance we could be up 40 tomorrow morning when we start the markets, because there's plenty of room for this thing to continue to run. So if you wanted to look at a potential reversal area, this might be a potential reversal area to look at. There's a chance that we will blow right through it if we get up to that area. But this 2668, 2678 area could be something worth paying attention to and something worth looking at. So kind of keep this area in mind. I'm going to move it to a purple time period. Remember, purple is slightly lower probability, so you may or may not be willing to take that style of a trade. Our big one came back down to the area and then boom, popped out of there. I'm going to remove this area going forward. I don't see this as a very valid opportunity. This was, by the way, a picture perfect breakout trade. If you took the long on the breakout this morning, this was a breakout trade that was setting up, and excuse me, not this morning. When the futures market opened, you actually had a pretty decent breakout long set up for you that you could have certainly jumped in on, and that's really kind of what we're running up from now. So let's see if that long kind of continues to go when we get up into this range here. I'm still on a 4-hour time period. Take a look at the 4-hour. We do have higher swing or lower swing highs, lower swing lows. And we did put in the same swing low here, but I've got lower swing highs. So technically we're still in a 4-hour downward trend, and we are in correction territory. If we go down, a bit more, we could be a little deeper. But there's a number of areas down here of potential buying opportunities. So keep all these areas in mind, kind of going forward. So there's the S&P, Nasdaq. Nasdaq went through this area, but let's take a look at that area, because one of the things that we always that we do when we set these trades up is this one. If you look, is a confirmation style of trade, and it blew through before then coming back out. So there's no reason to enter this if you're following all of your rules. So I'm going to remove that line there. That one is no longer valid. And there's no reason you should have gotten filled on something like that trying to pick that one up. This is another example, kind of the same area where we could see a bit of a reversal in the morning. I don't know when it'll get there, but keep this area in mind as a potential reversal point. So this area here is a potential reversal point that could get you filled on this. So other than that, not a whole lot in the equity markets. Let's take a look at crude oil. So crude oil, this was the one that I had tweeted about earlier in the week, and I said we are arriving very, very weakly. So you may not want to take it. We looked at it as a confirmation style of an entry. Price came through the area before ever coming back out of it. So there's no reason for you to have ever taken this long if you're following the rules. That's why we moved it to that dashed line. That dashed line gives you you've got to have that confirmation before getting into a position. So there was really no reason to enter that position. So what we're going to do is we're just going to remove that right now. Now, the other area that we had set up, price came into the level and has started to come out of it. We did trade a bit below it. So depending on how far away you set your stops on that thing, I will tell you I was not in front of the markets. I did not have this one preset. I knew that I wouldn't be trading towards the end of the day, and I don't really like to hold futures over the weekend when there's so much going on that I was unaware of kind of what was happening. So this one is not in play any longer. Now let's go to a daily chart. I had been talking for days about the momentum, right? We've been talking for weeks, if you will. If you've been here regularly, you've seen that we've talked about that we had the same swing highs in price, lower swing highs in momentum. We expected price to decline. Price has really come down now. We've actually come down below both the 20-day and the 50-day moving average. I'm not I don't use moving averages to make my decisions, but there's a chance now that we could come all the way down to $55 a barrel. This is really our fair price value area in here. So I'm more apt right now to look for shorts in crude. Obviously, shorts are going to be the better opportunity with the price patterns that we have coming in, and I'm going to look at a good area would be somewhere up in here, but I think your better opportunity is going to be somewhere up in here, but go candle to candle style of trading. And the candle to candle style of trading, when you go through there, is really going to get you the best bang for your buck, because you'll get in with the smallest amount of risk, and you'll be allowing trades to kind of move and run your way. Next, let's talk about gold. Gold, we're still in this kind of base between these two areas, 1,300 and 1,330. So both of them are in there. Nothing really to talk about on that side. Bonds. So bonds, bonds chopped around last week when the markets really had some strong sell-offs. Even as the markets rallied back up, the bonds didn't fall any deeper. Our short-term level, we got to remove that one. Short-term level got blown right through, smoked right through it, and that's one of the downfalls of short-term levels. I'm going to just leave the bonds alone for today. Although on the daily time period, we're seeing that the down move slowing its momentum a bit, and we're not seeing a lot of follow-through on that downward move. I think overall that's where we'll continue to go. As we see more cuts in interest rates, or more rises in interest rates, you'll see the drop in the price in bonds. The Aussie, so the Aussie areas, we've got the area way up here in the Aussie. We are starting to rally here in early trading in the Aussie. The Euro as well, doing the same, although we still have our opportunity. Now in the Euro, I'm going to add this little zone right up here as a potential reversal. So this little area up here as a potential reversal zone. And the reason that I like this for a potential reversal zone is that it acted as a support area right through here, and now could act as resistance coming back up into that level. Canadian dollar. Canadian dollar once again did almost identical to crude oil, right? Came down in and then it's popped back up out of there. So I'm going to remove this area here. Once again, kind of the same thing applies. Heading into the weekend, some of you may have gotten into this and you've ridden it back up. I did not, as I knew I wasn't going to be in front of the computer in order to close it off. So I had gotten rid of the order entry. So this is my area way up here in the Canadian. If I look at this on a daily chart, you'll see that we're still kind of in between major support and major resistance. And so for now, I'm going to leave this thing kind of be. But if you look at it from a daily perspective, you could get a candle-to-candle entry. If we get higher than Friday's high, you might get a candle-to-candle style of entry for a long. My problem with that is it's not a true reversal point. Technically right here maybe, but it's really pushing it. So you could get a candle-to-candle long off of this daily hammer candle for another opportunity. All right, Great British Pound, Japanese Yen, still in between two areas here in both the pound and in the yen. Keep in mind that both the pound and the yen, I typically trade, I'm going to look primarily first at the euro and the Aussie before I dive into these ones, but these ones do have some areas around them. Nothing on here that sticks out to me that says, hey, I gotta pay attention to the yen. It just nothing's fitting my rules and my targets. You could use this little area down here for a potential reversal, but I'd have to see what the arrival of price is before it gets into that area. So for now, I'm going to stay off. Discretion is the better part of valor. So just keep in mind, there's some movements that could happen, especially as London opens up. As we head into the London Open, just keep that in mind on the S&P. And if this volatility is too wide for you, okay, one of the things to keep in mind, there's no shame in sitting on your hands when the zones are wide. I mean, if you go back and look at this is a 15-minute chart, a 15-minute area that we identified, and it's a 10-point wide zone. That on one contract, that's $500. Some people are just not going to be comfortable by taking one contract with a $600 and something stop. And if that doesn't fit your rules, stay away. You got to follow your rules. And if it's too volatile, there's nothing wrong with staying out or going to the simulator. What you shouldn't do is feel like you get FOMO. And FOMO is the most dangerous of all emotions, fear of missing out. So with that being said, I hope everybody has a great day. If there's anything I can do for you, feel free to send me an email, chuck@IIE Financial. And thanks so much, and I will see you all soon.